Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to another podcast episode here on Challenge Your Norm podcast. My name is Pernilla, and on this podcast, we challenge our norm in order to grow and become more self-aware so that we can create more fulfilling, beautiful lives for ourselves. I am back home in my apartment after having lived in a suitcase for I think it's been over 4 months now. Maybe it's been 5 months. It's been a long time. And let me tell you, I'm excited to be back. And it's even more beautiful because right before I came back to Los Angeles in my apartment, I was in Ohio. If you didn't listen to my last podcast episode, I was in Ohio for the Greatness Summit, which is a summit hosted by Lewis Howes. It was a 3-day event. And there were some incredible speakers, a beautiful group of like-minded individuals. It was the first ever in-person self-development event I have ever been to. And I went alone. And obviously I was like, that's so weird. But first of all, I realized that so many people went there alone. So just to say that if you have been thinking about going to this event that, would be fun for you, but you don't have friends who are willing to pay the commission fee, or you kind of want to go by yourself and meet more like-minded people who have the same mindset, go by yourself. Because what I realized is so many people went by themselves and I met so many new people and it was incredible. But what we're going to talk about on today's podcast episode is how all the speakers at this event, regardless of whether it was a scientist, a spiritual leader, or a leader coach, business leader coach, they all had the same message in their own way, which all was surrounded by belief. And so that's what I want to chat with you about in today's episode, because I wrote like a full notebook of notes, because first of all, when you're at an event like that, when you're listening to things, like when you write notes, it goes in your system so much better and stays with you for longer. I'm not a specialist within that, but I just know that other specialists say that you got to write notes in order for that to actually stay. Because how many times have we heard something and then we forget about it, right? But so I was taking a ton of notes, and as I was going through back in these notes again, I really realized how all these different speakers were talking about this theme of belief, both self-belief, belief in what we are capable of the life that we want to create. And they said it in different ways. So I kind of want to touch base on that and then talk with you about how I've actually utilized this in my life since coming back this last week, and how I've actually seen crazy results from it. And I want to say this is something that I've been practicing for many years now, but we always need reminders to stay on top of our belief game, and we can always get better at it and we can always do more. So I've been trying to do all of that, definitely seeing some results, but even more than that, just feeling really freaking happy and grateful from it. What I say all the time is how growth equals happiness, because Tony Robbins says that, and I just align with that statement so very much. And because I've been utilizing these things that I learned at the summit that we're going to chat about today, I have been taking so much action and really been in this flow of execution and not caring what other people think, because I'm just so excited about my vision right now that I've been feeling so high and happy. And when we feel good, then, that's really what life is about, right? So it's just, I wanted to share it with you because maybe something I say can spark something within you today for you to go get into a good little flow state routine. Something good hopefully can come out of you listening to this. That is definitely my hope. So I just quickly want to share that, when a scientist was speaking, her way of maybe sharing how belief is so important is how our thoughts affect our brain cells, which our brain cells obviously affect our body and our emotions and therefore our entire life. And when a spiritual leader was talking about belief, it was law of attraction, right? Law of vibration, that what we believe about ourselves and about the life we get to live and experience, if we believe currently that we're living a beautiful life, then more beautiful things are going to come from us doing that. And from the business leader standpoint, it was like this, when you have a clear vision and you believe that you're headed towards that clear vision that you have for your life, then you're naturally going to be taking the action steps that lead towards it. So if you have belief that you are going to be able and capable of doing this thing, this clear vision that you've created for yourself, then the likelihood of you getting there, if you just decide not to stop, regardless of what challenges come your way, then it's going to happen eventually. And it was just really cool to be sitting and listening to all these incredible speakers. Like, I wish I would just share all their speeches with you right here, because it was incredible. But just seeing so many people with so many backgrounds having this thing in common and sharing it through different perspectives. And something that Rory Vaden said, that all of them also said in their own way, was this thing about like clear vision, having a really clear vision. And that was something throughout the summit that I realized that I thought I had, but it wasn't clear enough. And that's something I've gotten even more clear on since coming back home. And he said this quote that I also shared in my YouTube video that I posted today, is that if you have diluted focus, you will get diluted results. And I feel like that resonated so well with me, because I feel like I've been doing so many things that it's also been diluted results. And I think it also had to do with me traveling. I never booked more than like a week at a time. I'm such like a last minute kind of person. So I didn't want to like book something and then I'd have to stay if I didn't actually feel like staying. So the fact that I didn't have a home also kind of made it harder for me to stay really focused while I was traveling. And that's also why I'm so excited to get back and like get into a routine and a flow again. But that was a little bit of a sidetrack. I was talking about like this clear vision. Yeah. So I feel like I've gotten even clearer on my vision now. And something that I actually had been struggling with, let's just go sidetrack again and talk about that for a bit, because maybe some of you can relate to this. How I really want to bring value to people's lives, and how I feel like I'm kind of hoping to get better at podcasting so that I can do that in like a really meaningful way through the podcast episodes I make. And I feel like I've been able to do it through some of the YouTube videos that I make. But there's something about like the TikTok and the reels and the shorts, and also, honestly, also YouTube videos, because it all has to be so engaging. People's attention span is so short that, in a 15-second video, I feel like, yeah, maybe like I'm having fun and I'm doing something dancing, or I'm saying something little, like a little motivational quote. But I felt this feeling of like, but that's just me being silly and funny. Like, that's not actually bringing value to people in the way that I want to. So I've kind of been like battling this inner, like just like this inner battle of like, but I'm saying I want to bring value, but then I'm making these TikToks that I don't feel are valuable. And I had a strategy call with a branding strategist this week, which is something that has come from the summit that I need to seek more guidance, more help, because you can only expand as to what you know. And I think it's time for me to expand. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but how he was sharing that I should just see it as if that could be, reaching a large audience through my TikToks, reaching a large audience that maybe it can put a smile on their face that day, right? But utilizing this short form content as a funnel to attract people who are interested in the things that I have to share to then go watch or listen to my long form content. So I don't have to take it so seriously as I have, but that it's cool to do both, because then I can attract more. And then the people who really want to grow and level up with me, like you listening to this podcast, can then go check out my long form video. But I don't have to see these like short, silly videos as like me not living out the purpose that I'm on this earth to do. No, I can use that as like hopefully putting a smile on someone's face. And then anyone who is willing to do more inner work and growth with me on this journey can go listen to and watch my long form content. Just wanted to put that out there. I don't know if any of you could relate to that, but maybe you can in your own way, that you feel like you're working this like full-time job, but you want to do photography on the side. Well, right now you're working your full-time job so that you can pay your bills and you can live a good life. And then you also get to shoot photos in your free time. And who knows, maybe eventually it'll lead you to be able to quit your 9 to 5. But until that happens, where you get to that level within your photography, you can just enjoy both, right? Both having the financial freedom to do what you love and also like feeling stable and like not having to worry about the financial side of things. And then hopefully also get something good out of your 9 to 5. Maybe you can continue learning or just bring a good energy to the job environment. I don't know if that made any sense, but just that like all these little things that we do may not feel as aligned as this other thing that we're doing, but all of it is kind of helping us towards achieving this big vision that we have for life. Super sidetracked on there. But I want to get into some of the self-belief, vision things that I have done since coming back in order for me to, first of all, build more self-belief and also believe that I'm already living this life that I want to create for myself, law of attraction wise. Yeah. So one thing that I did, I don't actually know if it's a manifestation technique or if I made it up, but the first part of it is something that I've been doing for a long time is I take a journal and it's something I highly recommend for anyone listening to this podcast also do. I take a journal and then I write down what my perfect day looks like from when I wake up in the morning till I go to bed at night, with all of my senses and emotions involved in everything that I do throughout the day, like from what I eat to what I do to how I feel, who I'm with. I mean, everything in as much detail as possible. First of all, that just like makes you start developing this belief, or it makes you feel like you're actually experiencing that right now. And therefore, that's like what law of attraction is, right? Like if you believe that that's what your day looks like, or if you're seeing and experiencing that this is what your day looks like, then you'll attract that into your life if you're someone who believes in law of attraction. But I also think that when we start believing that, oh, this is my life, because we're like actually going through the motions as we're writing it, I think that subconsciously we start taking action steps that lead us towards living that life or feeling that way already in our current life. Because something that's really important to remember is that once that becomes our life, then that becomes our new norm. And then we take that for granted unless we continue to stay grateful for it, right? Like think of the things you have in your life right now that you previously thought that if you just had this one thing, then you would just be happy forever. But it's more of like the practice of constant gratitude every single day that will keep it feel like such a dream and such a beautiful thing if we intentionally make it so. But so I what I did was I wrote all of that down in my notebook from when I woke up till I go to bed at night. My dream life scenario, something I've done many, many times in my life, but this time I went even more in detail. And what I did then is I recorded myself. So kind of like how I'm recording this podcast right now, like I recorded myself saying these things, and then I put some meditation music on there. And then I like uploaded it to my phone. So now before I go to bed every night, I listen to that. And I don't know if it's a thing, but like for a long time, I had been doing this visualization manifestation through YouTube, which is beautiful. And I've done that one for years. And I like see the same house and like, it's incredible. Like I know that that's going to be my reality one day. I have like this very clear vision, but with me saying it myself, I've really specified it to the things that I want to focus on attracting and creating in my life. So maybe that's something you want to give a shot to, like start this like belief in that you're already living the life, law of attraction, manifestation technique. I don't know what to call it, but that's something I've done and I'll let you know how it goes. But it makes me fall asleep really quickly. So that's a good thing. So that's what I did. Write out my perfect day and then record it as a little good night story for myself every night. All right. The next thing that I've done is I got really clear on my vision. like I mentioned, that was something that I really needed to do, and something I hope that you're wanting to do as well. Even if you can't create a clear vision, like set a really clear goal that you want to achieve. And what I realized when doing that is like, I can only, like I mentioned before, I can only get as far as I can by myself. And I've been wanting to seek help for a long time. I've been wanting to hire the right person, and I just haven't been able to do that yet. And I realized through the summit that what a lot of them spoke about, which I've also heard so many times before, is how you got to like seek guidance. You got to get a coach. There's so many different ways to do things. And so what I did was I booked this branding strategy call, who gave me a lot of valuable information and insight. And I reached out to a friend who's an entrepreneur, who I know previously had spoken about how he had a virtual assistant who had been like crazy useful. I've also read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and I had been trying to hire an American, someone like a few people, where it just hadn't really worked out. And I mean, they were amazing people, but it just wasn't the right fit or the right timing. So I reached out to my entrepreneur friend, and he set me up with this other person who then I had a chat with, which was just very valuable. But what I also did was that he has a company who literally like specifies in finding the perfect candidate for you. So instead of me continuously spending hours and hours to find the right person to help me in my business, it feels like everything that he said and mentioned was just like, this is going to work out. And I have very incredible expectations for it. So that's just something that came out of me, like creating this vision, this belief that, okay, if I want to take my business, everything that I'm doing to the next level, I need to seek guidance. Yeah, that's what I did. And it feels like it's good. Also, this person that I was on a chat with connected me with other like-minded individuals and who have been chatting with a little bit. And I also joined a mastermind, like I've talked about in a previous podcast episode, and I met all these beautiful people at the summit. It's really interesting because the last few months I've really been wanting to develop more friendships, more connections, and me having set that intention and focused on that, it's just kind of showed up and come into my life in different ways. So I guess that's also a type of manifestation or belief that I like decided that it's time for me to start connecting more with like-minded individuals, and it's slowly starting to come into my life. So I just wanted to mention that in case you feel like you don't have a lot of people around you who are like-minded, who are passionate about the same things as you. Really set the intention and think of ways that you can go out and connect with more people. That's also one of the reasons I decided to go to this Greatness Summit, because I knew that there were going to be people who had the same interest in me. And normally, like you wouldn't want to go alone to a summit, right? Like that's so weird. But because I had that intention, it's like, well, if I don't get out of my comfort zone and do things like that, then it's just not going to happen. So just challenging our norm in that way could be useful. As usual, I'm all over the place in this podcast, but it's just become a common theme with all episodes. So I really hope that you can follow along, and thank you for listening to all my ramble. Let's move on. The next thing that I've done is I've been doing these like morning runs before I start my workout in the morning. I get up at 4. I'm on the 4 a.m. train, and it feels so good. Like that's how I feel at my best. It's when I get up early. And yes, I go to bed so early as well. So I get a lot of sleep, but getting up really early, having an incredible morning routine. And then I go on this run before I do my workout. And on this run, I've been putting Dr. Joe Dispenza in my ears, who's very much talking about law of attraction and the fact that you gotta pretend that you're already living in this new life that you want to create for yourself. And what I've been doing is, while I've been doing this morning run, I have just been like visualizing me accomplishing these things that I want to accomplish. And I mean, whether it happens or not, it just gets me in the best mood ever. Like I run and just have the biggest smile on my face. The people that are walking by or whatever, they must think like this girl's high, because I'm just, oh my gosh, it makes me so happy. And I just wanted to share that because maybe that's something you'd be willing to try. Go on a run, put on some sort of manifestation teacher in your ears and just like visualize these things coming to life. All the goals that you want. Maybe it's friendships, a partner. Maybe it's a goal within your career or financially. Like, just visualize all of these things coming to fruition. And oh my gosh, it just gets me so hyped also for my workout. Then I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm ready to work out. I'm going to go all the way freaking in. And I do have some great workouts after. So yeah, that's something I started doing as well. I don't know where I get these weird little things from, but I guess I just like you find techniques and then I use it in my own way. And for me, going on a run and visualizing it's nice. It gets me hyped. And something that I also have been doing for a long time, but that I've continued doing this week is just like when I get up in the morning or when I'm cleaning or whatever, I just always put on something motivational when I want to do this. Since we're talking about belief today, Abraham Hicks, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Gabby Bernstein, those are like teachers that I'll put on and it'll help me live inside of this world as if I'm already creating that thing that I want to create in my life. So that is usually the thing I put up on right when I wake up. It's like those kinds of YouTube little listens so that I can have that going on, hopefully affecting my subconscious mind as I go around, and it just puts different images in my mind. It gets me to think of different ideas. It's just a nice thing to wake up to, another way to start this inner belief that it's happening. And the funny thing is, like, it doesn't even matter if it happens or not, because it's just, for me, I think we're all different, but for me, it's just so fun. It's just so fun knowing that I can create my own reality. Like the life I live today, I feel like I've created through these different techniques. Like I've manifested every single thing that I have in my life. And it's just fun for me to feel good. And these thoughts make me feel good. So it's not about the goal, but it really just makes me feel good. And like I mentioned, like it's got me into this flow of taking action. And when I'm like in action, stepping mode while it being aligned with my vision, it's just, it's the best feeling. I know you can relate to this. And I think it's just about like sitting down, figuring out, or going on a run, figuring out like, how do I get into that? When in my life have I done that before, felt that way before, and then flow state has come from it, and then getting back into that routine, maybe in a new way, but like incorporating some of those things that we know work, or incorporating some of the things that we hear teachers talk about doing and just giving it a try, because yeah, it's fun. It's super fun. Another thing is something else I spoke about on a previous episode is how I haven't been focused at all on like finances this year. And that is something I wanted to change, because I want to manifest more money so that I can hire more people and so that I can build a bigger brand and business so that I can impact more people, but also something that I spoke about on my YouTube channel in the YouTube video that I just published today is that Lewis gives a large amount of money to human trafficking. And that is something that really, it hurts my heart. And it's something that I need to make a difference within in my lifetime. It's something that I need to be able to support. And so everything that I do is to help people grow, right? To grow myself so that I can inspire others. But it's even bigger than that. It's so that I can save lives and donate more money to things like that, so that I can actually that's a big goal of mine. So the reason I mention that is because I have just like the belief in the goals I have. One of them, the new ones, have become like creating more wealth. And that is something that I really have been focused on, this belief that, I'm a money magnet, like money is coming to me, it's flowing to me. And since starting doing that, it's actually insane. Job opportunities have come my way, like more than it has the many months. And I mean, it's kind of crazy, but that's what manifestation is. I hope that you just give it a try so you can see for yourself. Like I've written down in my journal, like a certain amount of money that I'm going to be manifesting, and I'm literally almost there. It's crazy. But write down in your journal, I think I spoke about this on my podcast previously. It's like, I make this amount of money a month. I make blah, 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 blah a month. Or I am making this before whatever date, like something. And it can be a small amount, but you have to believe that it's possible, or at least do your best. I've done this previously in my life where I put it on my vision board for 6 months, and then it happened, that amount of money that I thought was like impossible at the time when I put it on my vision board, but it happened. It came to fruition. I booked a job that gave me that amount of money. And that is what I'm planning on happening again. Like, I'm literally almost there. It's very crazy. So hopefully just inspiring you, if you want to develop more of an income, that you give that a try, because it's kind of cool. It's so cool when you realize that you can create your own life. It's just cool. I've said the word cool many times in this podcast episode, so I think you get it. I think you get the fact that I think it's cool. But that was pretty much the things that I wanted to share with you. I hope you're inspired to go out there, create a clear vision for yourself, and hopefully also make some sort of daily visualization practice, whether it's in your journal in the morning, you manifest, you create this belief that you already have achieved, that you are this certain something that you want to be, or it's going on this run, or you do the little self-recorded manifestation, visualization, sleep thing that you can listen to every night you go to bed, or a vision board, whatever it is for you. I hope that something I said in this episode sparked something in you, and then you go out there and visualize the freaking life, belief in the freaking life that you deserve to live. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'm sending you so much love, a big hug, and remember that in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm. Before you go, if you enjoyed this podcast episode and you are ready to level the frick up with me, I hope you want to join my October Transformation Challenge, where we are going to go deep. We're going to create a clear vision, as I've spoken about in this episode. We're going to set some clear goals and together figure out a clear plan and a clear action plan in order for us to get there. Because yes, we can manifest all day, but action is required for those things to come into existence and create that reality that we deep down want and dream about for our life. In this challenge, we're going to be doing a 4-week workout challenge. We're going to get a nutrition guide together with 130 of my most favorite delicious high protein recipes. You'll receive a 30-day journaling challenge. We'll create a morning routine that works specifically for your goals as well as your schedule. So it does not matter whether you want abs, you want to lose weight, you want to get in the best shape of your life, build muscle, or it's all about mindset and you want to really create some more self-awareness, self-belief, more love for yourself, or you want to just change a few things within your nutrition and become a part of this beautiful community. And every single week we're going to have these chats on Zoom, and we're going to daily chat within our closed community group and support each other and hype each other up and dig into those things that previously have held us back from creating this dream life that we want to create, and just together grow as a community. And I am freaking excited. And if you are someone who is wanting to really take your life to the next level within this next quarter of your life, I hope you want to join me. You can see the info in the description of this podcast episode, and I am just so freaking excited and hope to see you there.